Okay. Had to have my boomer moment there. What the fuck's up with Brian Wilson? Like, I'm only now seeing YouTube videos from his latest tour. The one he did with Blondie Chapin and Alan Jardine. I think it's still going on, actually. Unless I'm a year off. I don't know. I could be a whole year off. This could have all happened in 2021, and I'm thinking it's happening now. Not very good with time. But the point is, this latest tour he was on, the last one, whenever it was, they basically fucking put a piano up in the middle of the stage. And it's billed as a Brian Wilson concert. Maybe Brian Wilson and Friends. It's Brian Wilson. There's a big banner hanging up behind the band that with his face on it. It says Brian Wilson. It's like a profile. You've probably fucking seen it if you know anything about what I'm talking about. But they put a piano in the middle of the stage, and you probably know this as well. But they sit him at the piano facing the audience, so you can't see that he's not playing. And they have curtains covering the bottom where his feet would be. I don't know why, so you can't see his feet moving or not moving. Well, I guess they're trying to create the illusion that he's playing the piano. He's clearly not. I've watched videos of shows, two in particular, where he sings twice. Parts of God Only Knows, and what the hell is the other one? Well, one night he jumped in on a song he wasn't supposed to be on. Help Me Rhonda. They started playing it. I think Al Jardine was going to sing it, and they don't finish the intro. They only get like one bar in. Is that the right terminology there? I don't know. I was only in music for 35 years, but so Brian starts singing it. And everybody's like, whoa. See Alan Jardine look at him like, all right, cool, okay, oh, cool. And he gets like halfway through it and then falls asleep. I mean, eyes closed, head to the side. Why is this happening? Why is this Weekend at Bernie's thing billed as Brian Wilson and charging hundreds of dollars for tickets in some cases? What is this about? Like, you know Brian doesn't want to be there, okay? Brian, this is all my opinion, actually is going into my opinion territory. He's kind of a people pleaser. He knows if he keeps people around him happy, they'll leave him alone. And he'll be able to do what he wants. I think this is something he figured out like post-Landy. Because even if you look at the interviews around the time of 15 Big Ones, he was pretty there. He was articulate. He was on Saturday Night Live in a skit with Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, where they come to his house and drag him out of bed and give him a citation for not surfing. And then they bring him into the ocean, and they have this whole thing where they're trying to make him surf. But this was post the blew his mind on the LSD Brian story. Like, oh yeah, he just got fucked up on LSD. I think he only did LSD a couple times. I could be wrong. I'm sure there's someone that would know that for sure. But he seemed like, yeah, he had a bit of a rough patch, but he was kind of getting over it and coming back to a regular guy. You know, even describing his drug use, he's like, yeah, you know, cocaine's really bad. You know, I'd wake up in the morning and I'd think, well, I'll probably do some cocaine tonight. And then it's like, well, I could do some cocaine right now. It's just a bad drug. And he was, you know, like a regular guy. And then after, and I think what happened is he might have just started doing drugs again. Everybody freaked out and sent him back to Landy. You know, post-Landy, though, is where you get the guy that's, you know, really, I love this song, I love Jan Dean. You get that guy. So, at first I'm like, oh, those psychotropic drugs really fucked him up, you know, because I know that whole story. So, but I don't know, like, what would make you do that? And then looking at it more, I'm like, I think he's kind of putting on an act. And it sounds crazy, but I think he's come to terms with the expectations people have of him is, oh, that's crazy Brian. And if he shows up, he shows up. If he does this, he does that. And they got to kind of coddle him and kind of work around his whims. I think he figured that out. If he maintains that that's just crazy Brian thing, he can sit in that space in his life. And a lot of people won't be asking him to do a lot of things. And I get it. You know, that's not a plan outside of something most people would devise for themselves, you know. Because if you notice the weird way he talks, these weird tics he's picked up that people think are new to the post-Landy era Brian, those tics were there. They were just minor. You know, if you look at some of those, even the interviews from the 1960s, those little tics, I'm not a good person with this language stuff, so I couldn't really tell you. This is just my layman's kind of observation of it. Those little tics were there. And it seems like he steers into them now. So now you see the end result of steering into those small tics over the years. Maybe to help with the maintenance of this, oh, that's just crazy Brian, he's going to do what he wants to do. I don't think he dislikes himself. I think he just wants people to leave him alone, so he wants to please people. So I think with that kind of possibility being in play here, that guy doesn't want to be on that fucking stage. He's just like, okay, I have to do this, or he won't get in trouble as much as he'll let people down. You know, he may, this is probably a lot of it too. And he knows people rely on him, and he's had experiences with feelings of letting people down most of his life, starting in 1968 or 67 even, where he had these bouts with, I'm sure, as just a fan generally observing, it seems to me the possibility exists that he could be having these bouts of, man, I let everybody down, what the fuck? And then after 15 big ones, when he had his comeback, he kind of went off the rails a little bit with drugs again, and that compounded the, man, I've let everybody down. And then comes Landy into picture. Brian, you've let everybody down. And that's, the rest is history. You know, that is a problem that just compounds itself. So we're at a point where he's like, I just gotta do it. I have to do this. You know, I have to do it. I have to do it. And so now what we have is the statue sitting at the front of the stage staring at the audience in between napping, occasionally like realizing where he is, singing, and then just going back to napping or a trance. I don't know. Maybe when you're in his inner circle, I don't know if he's being abused or something. It's like, I can't say, but I think if you're in his inner circle, your perspective is so different, right? So different. And you've been with him for so long, okay, that in your mind, you don't see anything. Like, there's no red flags. You aren't thinking, wow, I'm exploiting Brian. You're probably thinking, wow, this is great. We got him out. You know, look at him looking at the audience. He's really, you can tell he's having a good time. This could be their intentions, you know? It's just a perfect storm of conflicting ideas as to how it's best to facilitate the remainder of his days with dignity. I don't know. This is just fan sort of speculation. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.